Divine greetings, entities, energies, lovelies, bodies of light, seekers and sojourners of truth. The 144, chosen of the chosen few. You all know who you are. I greet you in the love that lights the truth from my heart to yours. I am Celestial Earth in this divine energy essence of it all, with my plants, reporting to you live from nowhere other than dimension number 5, right? From the expansion of 2D consciousness into expanded 3D, expanding the 4th and into the 5th and beyond. For some of you that may be in a 6 to 7D, maybe even 8D, the 8th dimension consciousness. Welcome, welcome. If you're just walking into 5D, welcome to this channel. If it's your first time here, please remember to like, subscribe, share, and hit that notification button so you can be notified when a live or video or short, whatever it is you may want to see, is coming up, to get that information straight to you. Ashe. And as usual, I come to bring you the news to infuse with, if you so choose to infuse with that light as we light up on the light grid. And these are very pivotal times, so choose wisely. You can choose to infuse or not. Remember, if you do not, it's okay. You just choose to refuse. And if you do, remember, be prepared to be fried and on the grid. And it's a lot that's happening on this light grid activation right now, specifically and especially with our cosmic messenger in tow as it's flowing through. So that, as that brings to me as to mind, the message that I want to give to you now is about the parallel, the electromagnetic parallel. There is an electromagnetic parallel between cosmic messenger and the hurricane storm Melissa, particularly over Jamaica. And I did a little short on that. So here's a full clip, video. We're going to get into it and look at how it pivots, look at the parallel and the pivot between the storm, between the messenger, and what's happening in this translation, in this interpretation of this translation of information. Ashe, as we raise the vibrations. And with that said, before I go into that, let me go ahead and just do a little bit of housekeeping. Sweep. I want to say first and foremost, thank you for all of you who have sent your cares, your concerns, your well wishes, your love, light, all of that, for me and my family, loved ones in Jamaica. As most of you know, I am a descendant of that land, so I am a Jamaican pretty much. So thank you for sending your concerns and love and light. Particular shout out to Charles. Thank you very much for sending your love and letting me know, be safe. And I wanted to let you know I wasn't there. I'm here. I'm over here in the States, so I'm not over there enduring any of it. However, I do have family and loved ones who are there. I checked on all of them. Most of them I heard back from. They're fine. I'm waiting to hear back from 3 specifically, and 1 in particular who is on the most devastated part of the island, which is the far west that you've maybe been hearing about, Westmoreland. So I'm waiting to hear back. Other than that, everything else with everyone else that I'm in touch with had a lot of wind, a lot of rain, of course some damaged maybe yard space, but they're okay, they're safe, they're sound. And sending love and light to all those who may not be so fine and okay and are having a hard time with light and water, and just faithfully having the right people around them who can send them what they need. Ashe. In true abundance, it's all given. It's already done in the mind state of abundance. And we'll talk a little bit more about how it swept through as I talk about the electromagnetic frequencies that have been charged up. So thank you for that. Anything else to sweep away? The 5D calendars. If you have sent a payment for your calendars and have not received it, please email me. I believe there's about 2 of you. One name in particular stands out, someone named Jeffrey. So if that's you, or if you had someone named Jeffrey make the payment, Please send me the proof of payment with your address so I know it's you. And then I can get that to you as soon as possible. Ashe. Next on the sweeping list is the 3-day root chakra workshop. So thank you for those of you who stepped in, who stepped up, showed up for yourselves. And we just finished the 3-day workshop yesterday. For those who were able to do it within the divine timing as I was given and shown before the Perihelion. And we ended with the 3rd day right on the Perihelion. So we were able to, get that done. However, and in addition to, I should say, I have one available for those who weren't able to make that one this weekend. I postponed it from last weekend to this weekend, and this will be the last opportunity to take the root chakra 3-day workshop until it shows up again, which probably won't be for another year, maybe 2. So if that is for you and it resonates with you, please email me so I can send you the coordinates and send you the link. We will be doing it this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, leading up to the full moon as I sit under this nice half moon that is waxing up to the full moon next week. Ashe. So with that said, with all the sweeping out of the way, shout out to all my yardies in Jamaica. Shout out to the yardies. We love to party, all of that, right? And be safe. A lot of them are very full of life and doing, playing, having parties and all that in the middle of it. That's just the heart of Jamaica. They're going to do what they do. With that said, it just lets you know and lets you see the good vibes in the heart of the people no matter what, until the going gets rough. And even then they come out of it, they buck up, do what they got to do, and they get right back to it. So with that said, let me get right into this. Let me get right back to it with this information. So I don't hear many people talking. 2 things I want to definitely touch base on, and that is the pivot of the messenger, what they call 3iAtlas, the cosmic messenger, that as it pivots, it's a perihelion in alignment with the sun and us, Earth. And after that, it actually continues to move through our system, but it starts to bend in a certain way. And so that was on the same day as the pivot of the hurricane. So there is some type of parallel. And I want to go into that, as well as the 2030 vision. I've been hearing about that as well, that there was this 2030 vision, and that's something that we should look into. I don't really go deep into the rabbit hole in that way. Not to say I don't do my own rabbit hole digging, but we gotta know when and where not to let it take you. Right? So there is something to it, that there's a 2030 vision. So there is an agenda, and possibly how it could be man-made. It's not far off, because we know about HARP. We know that they can make, weather modifications and whatnot. So that's all part of it. But before I get into that, let's talk about the pivot, right? For those who may not understand what I'm saying about this parallel, electromagnetic parallel. And when you look it up, you may Google it. I did, and it said there's absolutely no correlation. Of course they're going to say that, because they have no clue. Right? They have no clue, so they know not what to do. They can't put that information out because the information is not given to them. Only those who are attuned in a certain way that may be able to put this together, even if they haven't seen exactly what I'm saying right now, they can more catch the gist of this than others who are not attuned, who are not on that frequency, so they can't even hear that channel. Right? So there is Ashe. So there is the pivot that was happening. If you look at the map and check out geophysicist Stefan Burns, I've been able to listen to him a lot more, even if you don't understand the language sometimes, which I pretty much do. It's just words I've never heard, but it's like, you already know this, right? That's what happened when you have a sharp third eye, and you have, clear cognizance. So it's like, it's a knowing. However, he is emphasizing, he hasn't mentioned that there is a correlation, but he's talking about it as if it is. He spoke about it on the day of. He's been speaking about the perihelion. On the day of the perihelion, he was on that day speaking about the hurricane as well, and the storms. He even showed the visual, if you get a chance to see it, with the lightning, how much lightning was there, and you'll see the movement of the storm. If you pay attention, look at both maps, the movement of the storm as it pivots, and look at the movement of 3iAtlas, our cosmic messenger, as it pivots, as it's moving around. So you see that on that day, so you can see that it is definitely the energies, and I firmly believe when the energies are showing you something, there's a reason why it's being concentrated, highlighted that day. Jamaica, of all days, like that hurricane on that day is hitting 1, 2, 3, not of all days, but of all islands. It's hitting 3 different islands around the same time. Even though the eye wall is going directly over Jamaica, that coverage is over 3 different islands. There is a spotlight, particularly on Jamaica, where the whole world is tuned in as well. So we're all being called in, and we have to kind of look at it. There's no such thing as coincidence. So we have to look at it like this is information that is being encoded, decoded, unlocking the helix in our DNA, in our cosmic DNA. And for those who are definitely in alignment and have clear channels, those of you who are clear portals of light, definitely receiving it. Even for those who are not aware, they're receiving certain messages. So it is an awakening point, as this is a pivotal point as well, and it's really highlighting the essence of Jamaica, the forward movement through Jamaica, in the way that we move into our next timeline, the way we move into the next new earth, so to speak, into the 5th dimension. It's like, well, how are you going to do it? You know, the cosmic messenger, as it is passing through, is unlocking so many codes within this earth and within us, in our bodies and in the body of the planet. And there's such a magnitude, a multi-dimensional layers of information being translated and transmitted, right? And we're all transmitters one onto another. So we can't count it out just because we don't have proof, right? Science has no proof yet of it being a correlation, but for those who have that eye, the wisdom to know the difference and see, right? We have the eye to see that eye as these storms are electromagnetic charges. They're not just storms, and we may see just destruction and devastation, but remember, 11 is a number that means enlightenment. Okay, this was on the 29th. The 2 and the 9 is an 11, and in order to have true enlightenment, there has to be some type of destruction of the old. And when you destroy the old, then you can now be enlightened onto the truth, onto what is new and true. So these storms, and particularly this one, is coming with they're carrying, you know, lightning. They're carrying so much charge. There's such an electromagnetic charge, and it is the conversation between the ethers and here, between the cosmos, I want to say, and here. And that lightning is evidence, as I was saying in the shorts. It was showing me in the dream, for those who can see. A lot of us can see, but there's no physical evidence. The lightning is the closest we get to the physical evidence of that electromagnetic charge that is in our atmosphere. And the storm kind of generates that. The storm, it's almost as if it harnesses the light codes, the electromagnetic charges. It's a way to harness it. It's almost like it harnesses it through the storm and into the particular lane lines, or, you know, grid lines within the earth. And it's actually doing that here. So instead of looking at just devastation, look at it as if you were chosen, so to speak. And I don't want to say chosen by something outside of you, but chosen because of the works that you do, as I've always said. Chosen because you have chosen. There are many people, especially particularly within this land right now, that are highly spiritually in tuned, chosen people who have chosen to be chosen, and has even taken up their lives from where they come from, all the way from Germany. There are many people, as I've been there, I've come across people from other worlds, other nations, that are settling there and doing very deep spiritual work. So it is a cleansing that is also happening in the land. So the land is also ripe, right? They're helping to be portals to open these gates and these codes in this land. So there is this connection. And so this electromagnetic charge that is coming through, and it's harnessing the information. As I was saying, in my dream, I saw the cyclone, and seeing it while in the hurricane, while being in Jamaica, and looking at a particular cyclone that was just spewing and spinning. I went to get my camera in the dream to get it. By the time I came back, it was not there, because the message was that it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody to see, because they can't see it. Right, Ashe? So for those who can see, and this is the way that we're going to see it, there's going to be ways that we can see it visibly. And for those who may not be particularly on that level, but still on a higher level, higher frequencies, be able to see through the storm, through the lightning. You're seeing through the energies. There's information being transmitted and translated through this electromagnetic charges. And although we can't see it, it's like what I call Bluetooth. It's like the Bluetooth. Just you can't see, but you don't have the wire. You can't see it, but the information is being transmuted or translated from the headphones to to your phone or your iPad, whatever it is that you're Bluetoothing. It's kind of like that. It's like the messenger out there. It's like there's a Bluetooth connection right here on Earth. Whatever is happening out there, it's, if you can imagine seeing a string, a cord, or whatever connected to the Earth, to our grid. The information is being transmitted, translated. Codes are unlocking within the earth. So I say this so you look at the pivot. I point to this because not many people are talking about it or looking at it, but it is very clear to me. And I want to be clear. I'm not saying this because I'm, of Jamaican descent, or, it's not to, I want to be careful to also speak to those who may be Jamaican. This is not for the ego's delight either. This is not for Jamaicans to puff up in pride. Yes, we're the, no, it is the truth. It is the truth of the matter that we're looking at a leader, a spiritual leadership set of people, and this is the leading culture, the most highly influenced culture right now. No shot, no shade to any other culture. This is not about who is better. This is about what is true. And being that there is such a strong influence, who better than as a culture of people that can be restored to their personal power, that are strong enough, let's say, dare I say, even a little rebellious enough. They need those who are strong and rebellious enough to say no to the system. And this is those type of people, if pushed far enough and with plenty support. And this is why, for those who do recognize it, those who do have the eyes, it's for them to put their support. That's why many are being guided into that land, those to support spiritually the people, building up their strength so that they will be able to stand firm and say, no, we're not doing this, because this has nothing to do with politics. When I say that it is for Jamaica that is being pointed to and highlighted as a culture that is going to be one of the main ones to lead into the new world, into the new earth, right? 5D consciousness expansion, heart expansion. It is not going to be through politics and politicians. We're definitely not talking about that, because those timelines and that matrix, it's collapsing, and they know that. This is not about any nation trying to take control. This is about collaboration of the people. Age of the Aquarian is healthy collaboration of the people, taking their rightful place in being good and great stewards of the earth, cultivating the earth, working in collaboration with the earth, with 2D consciousness, returning to the respect for 2D consciousness to help show the expansion of 2D into the expansion of third and fourth dimension that brings us into existing in the fifth dimension. And these are the people that are going to be able to do so, because there is nowhere in the world where they are not known. Like I said, all the way from, they put a flag on Kilimanjaro. These are just things I noticed. If you pay attention to what you notice around this time, as it was being highlighted, as Jamaica was being highlighted during this storm, during this pivot that is pivoting with the perihelion of our cosmic messenger in our solar system, during all of this, it's almost like it's shining the cosmic spotlight right there. They are giving us hints as they're unlocking codes, but they can't make us see it. What I'm telling you is it's not that it has to go that way. From what I'm getting, it's not like I'm telling the future like it must look this way, but they're giving us the codes to help unlock the best benefit of the doubt. What we do with it is on us. How we move with this information is on us, because as I said, this is not about political and national dominance. This is about a group of people that can help to escort humanity, right, into a full coverage of interconnectedness and interdependence, right, pouring back into Africa. If any diaspora is going to be able to, it's going to be Jamaica. If you look at Africa, there are a couple of nations in Africa. There are about several that are already lending their hands and asking for Jamaicans, giving land. So there's already this connection that they're looking for, that they are willing to accept. So, but they're going to need healed Jamaicans. And this is why it's important for the spiritual leaders to be there at this time. If you're feeling drawn to go there, it is for that reason, to help continue to clear up. And the storm also did a big part in that. There's some cleansing that needed to be done energetically. So there's a thick film of piratism, corruption, and things like that. Yes, those things need to be cleansed away, so that there are more of the spiritual leaders that can help build. And those are the ones that I would be speaking to now. If you are in Jamaica and you are already on the spiritual incline, I can almost bet that every one of you that are there now, that have been harnessing the energies for spiritual upliftment, for just higher frequency, let me not just say spiritual, higher frequency upliftment, I can almost bet that most of you have not had any damage, and you're going to be the ones to be able to help the community, the neighboring communities around you, and help highlight even more to the people of the truths of what you do. Don't just help without sharing the light, if you know what I mean, and highlighting it, because that's what's going to build stronger bonds with those that are in the communities. Right? So there is a there's a long-term, goal here. But for those who are willing to see it, those who are willing to pour into it and through it, and it's already been taking the lead from even the Rasta culture, to be honest, because Rastas were one of the first ones to talk about not being a part of a system, what they call the Babylon system. But they were one of the first ones, the original Rastas, not the ones nowadays who are a little wishy-washy, but the original ones were one of the first. That's how I was raised in that background, and that was one of the stronger suits that I have. When people ask me, how do you just step away from certain things? Like, when you're raised in that type of mentality, it does make it a little bit more easier to really step out of an institution, to step out of the ways that everyone else is doing things, because they were built for that. They were like, if I look at it, Rastas would be like the lead of the 5D, the fifth dimensional movement. They would be one of the main vehicles, because they were one of the first to say, let's plug out of the system. Let's not do this. Let's not comb our hair. Let's not send our children to schools. Let's farm. Let's live off of the land. Like, they were the originals of that, right? And now you have so many more people willing to do that, finding your communities. So This would be the lead back into that world. And I mean the lead into the fifth dimension. If you're looking for a bridge, and it's almost like the cosmic messenger is pointing to that with this paralleled electromagnetic field and focus of direction. Just look at the pivot, look at the turn, right? And ask yourself, where are you willing to learn? This is speaking to those really willing and ready light warriors. They're picking up the mantle, and there's so much work to do. And I will do a part 2 because I believe there's more to it than this. I wanted to at least share and highlight that there is. Don't let nobody tell you differently. You ain't got to take my word for it, but I'm going to say it like it is. There is an electromagnetic parallel. It's Bluetooth, so you can't see the connection. But for those who can see with sharp third eyes, codes that are unlocking, you will be able to see. You'll see the bridge in the expansion of the heart. And to that, what I have to say about the 2030 vision, that there is something to that, but I don't look too deep into the rabbit hole of, just know that yes, they can make, even if they made this hurricane man-made, as I've said before, what they make, the divine, the great order of divinity, which you call God, will turn it into good, has already turned it into good, because messages and codes have already been sent. So even those in their labs that may have been cooking this up, they were cooking it up while still being guided with the information that all of us is getting, and it is still fell in alignment with the pivot for those who have eyes to see. So even if they made it, the course that it's taken is in alignment with the cosmic messenger. So you still fell into doing the work for the good, even though you're trying to maybe distract and cause destruction, even if it's for the greater plan that they have for their 2030 vision, smart city. And a lot of Jamaicans do need to be aware of that, so you don't fall into those traps. And know that, and I've always said, there was a 2030 vision. Be ready for what is going to take place in this entire globe on 2030. So you have to know where you want to be. And there are going to be people who are living off the land in their abundance and free. It's going to be a split that's going to be so clear to see. You're either here or you're living in the system. And in the system and the institution, it is definitely going to be looking different by 2030. And for those who may not notice the difference, for them, it's going to look great. It's going to be like super convenience, because they're going to understand technology in a whole different way. Instead of knowing that you are the technology, we are the creators, and technology mimics us, because our very makeup, our very temples are cosmic technology. Ashe. So be enlightened. I look at it like these codes just allow it to enlighten you, and there's more to understanding how this affects us, because I want to answer this question too before I go. If I'm leaving out anything, I'll get it in the next video. There was a question of if I'm seeing this, the storm harnessing the energy, the electromagnetic charges in this way, what way does it affect the people, our social dynamics? And I'm going to say it like this, because yes, as it harnesses it and brings the information into the earth, lightning bolt to the earth, to the ground, the information is being deposited. The way it affects the people, just as it is being deposited in the earth and unlocking codes in the earth, it rises. Just like when sun hits the ground and the heat rises, it's kind of like that. So it rises back up into us. That's why we need to be walking barefoot as much as possible. When you get a chance to, it comes back into your portals, the portals in your souls, the soles of your feet, and the frequencies come back up through us as channels of light, and we're moving, and we become those transmitters. We harnessed it through the earth in that way, as well as our antennas, our crown chakra, for those who have their crowns, open in that type of way. But when it hits the earth, those codes that go in the earth then come back up into the soles of our feet. As we walk, we communicate with the earth, with the ground. And so ground zero, right? And then it comes up and into us as receptors and transmitters for this information, and then we become the transmitters one onto another. So social dynamics, that is how we harness it through the earth in that way, as well as through the ethers. But when it hits the ground, that is harnessed from the electromagnetic field, then we too, as electromagnetic beings, harness this through the electromagnetic earth and are able to translate it one unto another in our social dynamics, of how we reach out to one another, how we share the light with one another, and then depending again on your clear conduit, right? Least resistance is the stronger. You want to take the path of least resistance. You want to have least resistance in your conduit, in your wire, which is a clear consciousness. Clear energy centers is a clear consciousness. This is why we do the workshop. So if you haven't started, what are you waiting for? And thank you to all the